right here on the Muskegon Channel. I'm Andy O'Reilly. Dave Cackley's over there. All right, so yesterday we talked a little bit about the awesomeness of AFV on TV Sunday night, but I have to make an honest recommendation for you today, something you need to watch on Netflix.
I can't wait.
Seriously.
Go ahead.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
There's a Netflix documentary out there called The Circus.
About the circus?
It's about the circus, and it goes way back to probably the late 1800s when the circuses first started going, and it carries them up right through about the 50s.
Okay.
Unbelievably fascinating history.
Okay.
And you know, the craziest thing about the whole thing is the amount of fires that circuses, and one of them I can't believe isn't even taught in history, because one of them burnt the whole 9-acre tent down and killed about 160 people or some stuff. But
wow,
you know, circuses have always had that.
Interesting.
You know, circuses have always had that
uneasy element. There's a
you know what I mean. There's always just something about a circus that's just got that vibe to it. You know, like you're getting taken by somebody somehow.
Right.
Right.
It's a little.
There's a huckster part to it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you know, rightly so. And that's what, you know, you get that's what you're expecting, right?
Right. You kind of what you expect. Yeah.
The fires that they would have in off-season stuff. Everything burned down. Well, here's the insurance card. You know,
how long was this documentary?
It's a 4-hour documentary.
4 hours. Okay.
So
how much
episodes.
of the 4 hours was focused on the circus freaks? I'm big into circus freakdom. I like the idea of it.
Yep.
I like people like, you know what, what somebody is taking what some would call a handicap and turning it into a
living.
A living, yes.
Yeah.
They
spend a lot of time on the sideshows. They spend a lot of time on the menageries, and not all of it is not all of it is. You're not watching all of it going, oh, yay, us, look at us, we built circuses and things like that, because some of it's pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Especially how
some of the animals.
They built their animal menageries and stuff like that. Ugly. I mean, ugly parts of history. But
yeah, no question.
Overall, it one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never been. I'm very much pro zoo. I'm not necessarily pro or anti circus, because, like I said, of the treatment of some of the animals and stuff that you can question that. Right. Zoos, I just look at as these animals are on a permanent vacation. They're on a resort for the rest of their lives. If animals could talk, they would just come out and hug everybody. God, thank you so much for putting us up in these palatial digs. I don't have to kill for my food. I don't have to do anything. I can sleep in. I'm not worried about predators. It's awesome.
Well, unless you're that elephant that was at John Ball Zoo years ago. That thing had it bad. But they fixed that.
Yeah. Well,
you might even be too young to remember the elephant that was at John Ball Zoo. That thing literally had a closet to stand in. And that was its life.
You got to give this. You can't really. Elephants are hard to deal with in zoos because you need more space.
Right.
It seems like if you're an elephant, especially if you're a claustrophobic elephant, that'd be really tough. So
very tough.
I don't know if.
But anyway, that's my recommendation for you today. So when
I will definitely check that out.
When you quote unquote go to your other job and
hey, that's what I do.
Put your feet up at the desk.
Look at this. Look at this callus. Those calluses on my hand. Look at that.
Yeah.
That ain't from doing this.
I know what that's from.
That's countertop manufacturing calluses there.
No, that ain't.
Anyway, okay. First of all, this is my left hand. I'm right-handed. So there you go.
Do snooze or something, would you?
The U.S. is sending an additional 1,000 troops to the Middle East. This comes amid heightened tensions with Iran following an attack on 2 oil tankers last week. Iran is threatening to exceed its uranium stockpile limit, which would be a violation of the 2015 nuclear deal. A lot of people are, a little nervous about this. I wouldn't be. This is just a little bit of posturing. Like I said, you're not going to see a bunch of troops being sent. 1,000 isn't a lot. This is just to kind of. This is a little bit of posturing on the administration's part. I don't think it would be political suicide to go to war with Iran. It would. There's no chance of that happening. None. Zero. Nada. Not going to happen. Unless he doesn't want to get reelected.
Okay.
But there's no way. So.
Thank you, Dave.
Anyway, moving on. South Bend mayor and Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg says it's unlikely he would be the first gay commander-in-chief if elected in 2020. Buttigieg says it's almost a statistical certainty that we've had at least one gay president in the past. Buttigieg came out in 2015. And what he's saying makes sense. James Buchanan, he was the only confirmed bachelor president. So there was speculation that he may have been gay. I think James Madison, who was like 5'4", 115 pounds, way back in the early days, that was a possibility. And someone nobody brings up, but if Gunnery Sergeant Hartman is to be believed, Lyndon Johnson, being from Texas,
no
possibility. Just saying.
And in all honesty, does it matter?
It's not a question of whether it matters. It's a question of, has it happened in the past? I'm saying Pete's probably right. Probably has. Yeah. And it's helped him. I mean, let's be honest. If Pete Buttigieg wasn't gay, would he have a lot of this around? I mean, no, we'd still be talking about Beto. He's just a younger gay version of Beto. That's what he is. So, and he's, from a political standpoint, the guy's a brilliant politician. He answers zero questions. He has no real ideas. That's what I like that. I like that in my my professional politics. Don't have any
ideas. Hit the rewind button.
Talk about nothing. It's awesome.
Let's hit the rewind button. You ready?
Okay.
We're back to before this podcast started. And remember when I said, Dave, can we just keep politics at a minimum and all that stuff?
When did you say that? Well, what? This was he was talking about gay presidents. And I just gave you three possibilities of gay presidents.
I know.
I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Isn't the idea that we may have had a gay president in the 1800s, like James Buchanan was, probably gay, or, Lyndon Johnson? I'm just speculating. I like to speculate on things. It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Why do you got to get all squeamish and squishy about it?
I'm not squeamish and squishy. I want to break from it.
Well, this didn't have anything really to do with politics. It's about history and whether or not we've had a gay president. Okay. Now you're all, I don't want to talk about this. This is politics. I don't want to talk about gay presidents. Skipping around Washington. Who cares? That's a fun, interesting, piece of trivia.
Okay,
who knows?
Fun and interesting. Very good.
All right. Finally, over 24 unlicensed pot shops remain in operation across the state.
How many?
Struck down in April. Over 24. Anyway, court struck down an April 30th deadline that was imposed by the Marijuana Regulatory Agency to force shops to be licensed. There are currently 30 unlicensed marijuana businesses. If you got yourself a dealer already and you had it beforehand, I would pretty much stick with I'm a small business guy. I'm a product of a small business. If you got yourself a dude, comes over, gives you whatever, I don't have a problem.
I go back to right when the legalization thing was, if this happens, blah, blah, blah. And I saw a report on the news, and there was some slimy lawyer from Grand Rapids on there. And he was talking to the reporter, and he goes, look, anybody that's going to get into this marijuana business when it's legal, he goes, it ain't going to be your street dealer, okay? It's going to cost upwards of $200,000 for all the licensing and the buildings and all this other kind of stuff. And you know what? That literally pissed me off.
Oh, yeah,
He really did, because you know what? If some guy's been able to dodge bullets and make a way for himself growing plants up till it got legalized, he damn well ought to be able to do the same thing after it's legalized.
Absolutely.
And here's a chance for this guy to go legit, make an honest living, and do something he's good at. And you're going to exclude him because he doesn't have $250,000 to buy into the system?
We should not make it. And forget marijuana for a second. We shouldn't make it this hard to start any business.
No.
You want people starting businesses. You want to encourage entrepreneurship. You don't want to go through the amount of regulation should be the bare minimum for anything. I'm not, now obviously there are certain safety requirements, certain basic, But in case in point, my family countertop business has to deal with this. You get the fire inspectors coming through. Okay, you
Yep.
got to make sure you have this. You got to make sure you have that, which is fine. But you keep it basic. Keep it the minimum. You want certain safety standards and everything, but let's not make people go through a lot of red tape to start a business and provide something that
Yep.
the public wants. We want it.
What do you do?
So, give me my brownies and let me be on my way. That's
There
all
you
I'm
go.
saying. Anyway, sports. Tigers were off. Cubs were off. Michigan beats Florida State in the College World Series, which would be a big deal if anybody gave a shit about college baseball. So they don't. So who
They
cares?
do.
That's sports.
Go Blue. I will
Later.
see you back here tomorrow, and you have yourself a wonderful Tuesday.
You as well. Bye-bye.